I'll upload the recipes. What you need egg whites, just regular egg whites. They have to be pristine egg whites. You have to make sure that there's no blood in there, there's no yolk in there, that there's no shell in there. This one is, we have the powdered sugar. Okay, so the powdered sugar, we've measured that out as well. And then we also have almond flour. So this is a gluten-free cookie, all right? We also have granulated sugar. So we have two different types of sugar. We have a granulated sugar and we have a powdered sugar. People ask, hey, can you make that recipe a little less sweet? No. This recipe dates back hundreds of years, and there's no way to make it any less sweet. Eat oatmeal cookies or something like that if you want to have something less sweet. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start making this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the egg whites, I'm going to put it into a stand-up mixer. If I don't have a stand-up mixer, I can use a copper bowl like one of these up here hanging on the wall, and then use a regular whisk and just whisk it. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. All right. At this point, you can put a little bit of salt in there. You can put a tiny bit of lemon in there. Put a little bit of cream of tartar in there. I'm just going to leave it like that today and just do the regular egg whites. I will sprinkle in the granulated sugar as we go. You're going to hear this. I'm going to try to speak up so you can actually hear me. Crank this up. We're going to crank it all the way up on high. And what we're doing is we're making a meringue. A meringue, all right? Not a merengue, a meringue, all right? So as it starts to whip up, as soon as you start to see a little bit of the bubbles forming and it's starting to become a little bit, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the sugar in a slow, steady stream. All right, so I'm going to add the sugar in a slow, steady stream. Can you see that? And I will pull it off to show you what it looks like in stages, all right, guys? So you'll see. So we add all the, make sure the granulated sugar goes in this one and the powdered sugar goes in the other one, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and leave that going. I will add a little bit of color to it. I want to add a water-based color. So the water-based color, I'm going to go ahead and add about, for this much in the recipe, I'm going to add about a teaspoonful, right? So I add about a teaspoonful. I want it to be nice and bright colored yellow, right? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a blender. I have a beaker of a Vitamix blender here. I'm going to add the powdered sugar to that. And I'm going to add my almond flour to that, right? So my almond flour, right? So I add my powdered sugar, my almond flour. I've gone ahead and I've taken the lid and I've covered it with plastic wrap so it doesn't, so none of the product can get down in there. You'll see why in just a second. So I go ahead and put this up on top of here. I put it on full blast, and then I'm just going to pulse it for 5 seconds. Are you ready? 1, 1000, 2, 1003, 1004, 1005. Don't overdo it because you will make peanut butter out of that almond flour, right? Or almond butter or whatever. So, and then I shake it, I make sure it comes all off the bottom, then I put it back on again, and I go 5 more seconds. Ready? 1, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, right? Now I have this ready to go. Make sure it all comes off the bottom. Make sure I don't have any stuff stuck in the bottom there. And all right, if you do get some stuck in the bottom there, you can get it out with your wooden spoon. So now I'm going to take a sifter. I have like sifters, multiple. I'm going to go ahead and put this into the sifter, making sure that I got everything out of the bottom there. See that? Everything's out of the bottom. Right? And then I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to sift this. So now, let me check this out. I want these to be stiff peaks. So I'm going to, how am I going to check? I want to mix it up with my, all right, and then I want to hold this up like that. I want to hold it up. See how I hold it up? And I want it to stay stiff at the top, all right? That makes sure that I have stiff peaks. There's another way to check also, and that is to take it and kind of do this. And then you can tell if it falls in your face, it's not ready. No, don't do that. I'm trying to be funny here. Okay, all right. So anyway, all right. So we have the meringue. See the meringue? Right? It's totally stiff, right? And then it's stiff peaks. And then I have my almond flour and my powdered sugar. And what I'm doing here with my almond flour and my powdered sugar is I'm sifting it, right? So I'm sifting it. I'm using like small little circles and just kind of shaking it and sifting it, shaking it, sifting it. I want to make sure I get all that sifted, right? The reason why I sift it because I don't want any lumps in there, right? But also it's to incorporate air, right? Air. So this is a very, very light meringue style cookie, right? That's going to be incorporated with a little bit of fat. What's that fat come from? The fat comes from the almonds, right? The almond meal. So I'm going to have to sift this really, really good. Right, be careful not to get it all over the place like I'm doing here. And all right, so you gotta sift it really good. Maybe get a little bit bigger bowl underneath. No, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. All right, so sift, 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 sift. Almost done. Again, the small circles really, really make it happen. You can go a little faster motion when we go to edit this later, right? Do this part. Gets a little boring in here. Okay. So one of the reasons why you sift it again is to add a little bit of air in there, and you're going to see what we're going to do. We're going to maintain all that air inside the cookie there. And so, all right, so I sifted that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift it again one more time, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put my sifter up on top. I'm going to take half of the sifted almond flour and powdered sugar mixture. I'm going to put half of it into my sifter, and I'm going to do half at a time, right? So I'm going to sift this over the top. And one of the reasons why we sift it over the top and we sift it twice is, again, to incorporate a lot of air in there. If you can serve your customers air, you're doing very well, right? So you're going to get the better yield on the cookie, right? They actually sell these for, I don't know how much. I've gone to the mall and spent like $1 on one of them, or $1.50 on one of them. People have told me that they're, for the larger ones, they're like $3 or whatever a piece. So again, and again, they're like 50% air. So again, if you can sell your customers air, man, you're doing really well, right? Okay, so we're sifting, 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 sifting. Almost finished. This is the part that's a little bit tedious. All right, so we get all that sifted. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a rubber spatula, and I'm going to just use that edge of the rubber spatula right there, just that edge. See that? And I'm going to go down. I'm going to turn the rubber spatula, come up and then around, and then see how I'm turning the rubber spatula. So it's almost like a shark swimming through the ocean. Right? So okay, so I'm going to hold on to my bowl, and I'm just going to again fold. And again, as I'm folding, I'm cutting it in half. I'm lifting, and I'm just lifting and cutting. I'm incorporating all of those dry ingredients, the powdered sugar and the almond flour. And again, I'm trying not to pop any of the bubbles, and I'm incorporating all of those dry ingredients into my meringue, right? Into my powdered granulated sugar and egg mixture, right? So just gonna go ahead and just keep folding until I get it fully incorporated. Once I mix, I stop mixing, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the remaining powdered sugar, powdered sugar and almond meal, right? So, okay, there we go. So the remaining, I'm going to sift that again right on top. A little wooden spoon and shake action. This works really well. Shake, shake, shake. Shake it, shake it, shake it. It's a little bit tedious. And you know, if you skip or skimp any of these steps, what's going to happen is you're going to end up having big lumps in there, or you're going to have a flat cookie or whatever. So it's key that you follow all these steps, critical, right? Exactly the way I'm making it right now, right? So again, so this particular recipe, I remember getting this recipe from Chef Eric Gouturon. Hi, hopefully Chef Eric is watching this, right? Chef Eric Gouturon. He was French. He was from France. He worked with me at the Plaza Hotel in New York, and he said, "Madame, today we are going to learn how to make the French macaron." And that's how it's pronounced, macaron, right? And so, anyway, okay, so we have the French macaron. Anyway, so he said that he gave me the recipe, and it was in grams, and it was like had some raspberries crushed into the paper and stuff, right, and everything. Anyway, so Chef Eric said, once you learn how to make the French macaron, right? But he also told me where the recipe came from. So he actually worked at Le Cirque, and he worked with a chef there named Daniel Baloud, who owns Restaurant Daniel, 3 Michelin stars in New York, right? Anyway, Daniel, when he first started out, in Paris, France. He started out with a chef named Paul Bocuse, right? So Paul Bocuse actually worked for Marie-Antoine Carême originally, right? So anyway, so this recipe dates back literally hundreds of years, right? So anyway, so just, you're not going to adjust this recipe. Just take this recipe just the way it is. Continue to fold. You want to fold until the mixture runs like lava. Now I show my students this and they say, well, chef, I've never seen lava before. Well, this is what it looks like, all right? So it's got to flow like that. See how it's kind of clumping a little bit still? So I'm gonna just go ahead and mix a little bit. You're trying to get that right consistency, and you'll see why here in just a minute. Try to get that right consistency here. There we go. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our bag. I have a number 304 straight tip in there. I've got a piece of a disposable pastry bag. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stuff this inside here so that it doesn't dribble out the bottom when I'm filling it, right? Now, dribbling is very good for the NBA, not so good for the pastry shop, right? So no dribbling. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the product right in here. And again, I'm trying not to pop the air bubbles as I'm placing it into the bag. All the product is going in there. See how I'm using I folded the bag over and I'm using my fingers to kind of grab the product and pull it off the rubber spatula because it's kind of sticky, it's kind of gluey, it's kind of gummy, and it wants to stay on that rubber spatula. So I want to get all of it, right? I want to make sure that I utilize every bit of those egg whites, every bit of those, the almond meal, everything, completely empty, right? So there we go. And then I'm just going to stick this in the sink and get that washed up right now. Then what I'm going to do is I've gone ahead and I've prepared some sheet pans. Now, I have found that the best way to bake these, is to bake them on a Silpat, and then this like a styrofoam or a silicone baking mat that has some fiberglass on the inside there. Anyway, you can get these at any Chef's Toys, or you can get them at like Sur La Table or Williams and Sonoma or anything like that. And then I take some templates that I made on a computer. I just made some 1-inch round circles and then copied and paste until I had a whole bunch of circles on a piece of paper. Then I printed that out, and that goes underneath. And I can just put the paper right in the oven. It's only going to be 288 to 300 degrees, so it's going to be fine. This way, I'm going to go ahead and take my product. I'm going to push it down. Again, it's not dribbling out. Whoop, maybe it's starting to dribble out now, but it shouldn't dribble out because I've tucked in that end, right? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is here's the key, right? I want to fold this over. I want to make sure that I go 90-degree angle straight up. If I'm leaning over to the side, over this way or over that way, what's going to happen is that the bubbles are going to flex on one side and the cookie's going to rise, and it's going to be, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a little rise as it bakes in the oven. So let's look. So straight up and down, I'm going to put it right in the center of each of the circles, and I'm just going to squeeze the bag until I get to the outside of that ring of the circle, and then I'm going to stop, lift straight up, and go to the next ring. Watch. So straight up and down, squeeze, 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 up, squeeze, 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 up. All right, you go fast as possible. All right, and the reason why is because they're paying you by the hour, right? So you go as fast as possible, and you get them all right in the center of the circles there. Maria, can you grab those ones on the table over there? The green ones. So what's going to happen we're going to actually dry these out. Super important that we dry them out afterwards, and you're going to see how we're going to dry them out. If it's a humid day, like maybe it's raining or whatever, it's going to take you twice as long to dry. And I'll show you what they look like when they're dry. But what you want to do is you want to get them all piped out, and again, this is going to be enough for like 2.5 sheet pans. So a little bit, 4 egg whites, right? That's it. Anyway, so all right. So at this point, what I want to do is, see how I have these little bumps on top? I want to get rid of those. There might be any trapped little air pockets inside. I want to get rid of those. I do a little wrap, right? Do a little wrap. I just drop it and wrap. So this is a different kind of wrap. You know, you're not going to be busting down rhymes, right? This is not 50 Cent or Eminem or Run DMC. This is the wrapping of the cookie, right? I'm trying to be funny, I guess. Anyway, all right. So now they're kind of flat a little bit. What that also does is along the edge or the bottom of the cookie itself, it'll flex those little microscopic air bubbles down. And so what happens is that after we dry it, and again, this one has been drying for about a half an hour now. This one is green. You can see it drying for about a half an hour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, you want to touch it with your finger very, very carefully, and you can see how it's a little dry, how it's not sticky anymore. You see that? And see how they become from a shiny finish here to like a matte finish here. All right, that means that your cookies are dry. And what happens is that beneath that little dried film that's over the top there, beneath that is the moisture from the meringue, right? And what's going to happen is, as you put that into a 288 to 300 degree oven, it's going to turn to steam, right? The little moisture that's in there is going to turn to steam, and it's going to want to get out. It's going to want to get out, and it can't get out because it's going to hit the top of that little shell that's in there. And what's going to happen, it's going to come out through the bottom of the cookie, along the edge of the cookie, along the side. This is kind of fun to do this. This is kind of fun. Anyway, so it comes along, and you have these little microscopic air bubbles that pop along the base of the cookie. Now this is the distinguishing characteristic of the French macaroon. You want to make sure that the cookie has that. If it doesn't have that, if you don't dry it right, you don't bake it at the right temperature, you don't watch it right, what's going to happen is you're not going to have those little, it's called le pied. Everybody say le pied, right? Anyway, so the foot, right? The foot in French, the foot. All right, and then how many of you can cook in flip-flops? We can, we're only on quarantine, right? Okay. Anyway, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these, we're going to pop them in the oven. So through the magic of television, we got them already dried out. We're going to pop those in the oven. But also through the magic of television, we have some that are already baked. All right, we have some already baked. So I have some in the oven that are already baked. And those are going to come out right now. And when they come out, you want to actually take a look at them. I'll put these that are dried already in, like that. I have a few. So again, so the batch makes 3, 2.5 trays. That's nice, right? All right, so let's take a look here real quick, real close. Oh, we got the other one going. All right. Who's coming over for French macaroons today? All right. So with these right here, what you can do is you can actually see how they're nice and dry now. They're dried out, but they also have the little foot on the bottom, right? So they have the little foot on the bottom. And let me take one off the edge. Let them cool down on the tray itself. And the reason why you want to let them cool down on the tray itself is because they're going to continue to bake a little bit, right? And let me show you guys a little bit. There we go. So they'll continue to bake a little bit, right? As they cool down, they'll continue to bake a little bit. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little knife here. I'm going to try to come underneath just so I can show you what they look like when they're baked perfectly. And again, when they cool down, they'll be a lot easier to lift up. But as you can see here, they have the little foot along the bottom there. You see that little foot right there along the bottom? That's super important. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this cookie and we're going to take another one and we're going to sandwich them together. Now in the recipe packet that I'm going to give you in the chat on the bottom of the YouTube video, and I'm also going to email the people that are watching on Zoom, I'll just email you guys or send it as an announcement in Canvas, right? You'll be able to see how we have the fillings that are going to work. So the fillings that we're going to do today, I'm actually going to use, I have Knott's raspberry preserves here, and then powdered sugar and butter, right? So butter, what could be better than powdered sugar, butter, and jam? And that's going to fill my red ones, right? Because I want these red ones to represent something that is appropriately red, right? So it kind of looks like it. If you look at it, oh, that has to be raspberry flavored or strawberry flavored or something like that. Maybe I'm going to make a lemon filling for the one that is yellow, right? So I'll make a lemon filling for that one. And then the one that is green, maybe I'll make a green tea filling, like with the maca powder or matcha powder or whatever. So anyway, all right. So that concludes. I'll show you. I'll show you guys a picture of the final product when we're all done. That concludes our French macaroon. If you have any questions, please feel free to send us a comment. Also, like the video, and also, if you would, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And not only subscribe to it, also tell your friends. So share it. All right, share it on social media as well. Anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.